Hello everyone, it's me, Lola Javon, here with the weekly vlog, which is the video version of my written blog that you can find over at www.lolajavon.com. I've got something different for you today. We're talking about this piece. This is called Into the Woods Alone. It is oil on a charcuterie board. It's about 9.5 inches at the widest point and 17.5 inches tall and about just under an inch deep. This is not a food safe item. I just want to say that right now. It's only for decorative use, so don't cut your salami and your cheese on it. But let's talk about what the words that I've got to go with this one this week. The wolf said, "You know, my dear, it isn't safe for a little girl to walk through these woods alone." Red Riding Hood said, "I find your sexist remark offensive in the extreme, but I will ignore it because of your traditional status as an outcast from society, the stress of which has caused you to develop your own, entirely valid worldview. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must be on my way." And that quote is from the book by James Finn Garner. Well, when the world is on fire, going into the woods is not recommended. And going alone? Well, lately the woods feel perhaps safer for women than the civilized world, but that's a digression for another time. Here in the studio, the woods outside on fire and the streets filled with smoke have this artist wandering in the paint on some very lovely wood. Some years ago, my husband Malcolm and I stumbled upon a bunch of burl wood, which found its way home with us, of course. The reclaimed lumber place where we found the burls gave us this gorgeous charcuterie board in thanks for our purchase. And it's sat unused for a long, long time. I've been gathering bits and bobs lately. Discarded boards from a local handcrafted furniture shop that they leave outside near the dumpster, vintage hardware, old rusty pieces, and things like that. The charcuterie board found its way into the potential substrates pile that I have going on, and ultimately it made its way onto the work table. I had in mind a modernized version of Little Red Riding Hood, because the wood itself wanted to be part of the story, so I wanted to leave some of it unpainted. So after sanding all the edges, I applied several coats of varnish to the wood to seal it so that I could paint on it. And once it was dry, I created the form of the composition on the board in gesso. And here's a picture of that. Now that the surface is prepared for oil paint, I did the requisite 80 billion layers of oil paint with very small brushes and an attention to detail. Without getting too precious, without trying to make it realistic, wanting to catch some of the fairy tale-ness of the story. After a long drying time, a final coat of varnish, this Red Riding Hood in her fashion-forward outfit was ready to head off into the woods alone. Now, what other kinds of trouble can I get into in the bits and bobs pile? And if you want more Little Red Riding Hood, grab your copy of Monstrous with a fairy tale survival kit, and you'll get to see another version of Red, and I think you're gonna like her. Thanks for hanging out with me this week. If you stay tuned to the end, I'll show you this one on the wall, not framed, because this one shouldn't and can't be framed. And it will have hanging hardware on it for the person who decides to take this one home. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Head over to my website, www.lolajavon.com. Check out the art, check out the blog, check out what malarkey's going on this week, and look forward in the future to some more monsters. See you next week. Bye.
I never thought I'd wed a prince.
I never thought I'd find perfection. I never thought I could be so happy.
Not an unhappy moment since.
I didn't think we'd be this
Not
rich.
conceivable objection.
I never thought we'd have a baby.
I never thought I could be so happy. happy.